A tropical storm has hit California for the first time in 84 years. And it just so happened that while that was hitting land, an earthquake also hit. So, in this video, I'll go over all this craziness, including clips from the earthquake and from the tropical storm. I'll also get to a hilarious reaction from Fox News on the storm. I will also show you a prominent politician getting fooled by a long running joke. Wait for that, as well as other details around this storm, and of course, climate change being the center of all of this. So, here is since there's not much to discuss on this earthquake, since it appears there wasn't much damage, thankfully. California is largely set up to handle earthquakes because of where they're situated. But here are a couple clips from the ground shaking, and yeah, there you go. Truck rocking back and forth, ground moving, things happening. Here's another video. This is someone's ring cam here capturing. This is interesting because for some reason the dogs always know before everybody else. So here is this person's dog barking at the earthquake that is about to hit. So how about that? That's all there is for the earthquake. There's not much to go on here. It's just interesting that this happened at the exact time that Hillary was making landfall. So this is from Mexico, but you see the impact here is immense. Also, this is just incredible. So Barstool Big Cat on Twitter tweeted out this: friend of mine out in LA just took this picture on the 405, and yes, all news and media outlets, you have permission to use this. Wild. Showing a shark in the waters. This, of course, is not real. This has been a long-running joke. Every time there's a flood somewhere or there's immense rain, someone posts this picture and acts like, they either post a picture of a shark in the subway system, which I've seen, or they post one from the highway. Guess who fell for this? Ted Cruz. Senator Ted Cruz. Texas, these are the kinds of people you are electing to the Senate. Holy crap, Ted Cruz says. I kind of wish this was real, because maybe this would be the one thing that would shake Ted Cruz into, I don't know, trying to do something serious about the climate crisis. Though, of course, Ted Cruz doesn't care regardless. He is simply, a paid vessel for oil companies, so he doesn't care. But it's just funny that he fell for this. He eventually tweeted in reply saying, "I'm told this is a joke. In LA, you never know." That's his defense here. And everyone, please stay safe from this storm or otherwise. Oh, thank you, Ted. All right. Let me get to some real video now. So I'm going to read a bit about the storm as I play you this video from Reuters. As Reuters writes here, Southern California officials brace for possible overnight reports of serious damage from Tropical Storm Hilary after the system unleashed furious flash floods east and west of LA in its arrival a day earlier. As Axios writes, Tropical Storm Hilary caused road closures and flood damage across Southern California and led to over 4,500 flights being delayed or canceled across the U.S. on Sunday. There were multiple reports of water rescues and people trapped in cars due to the inundation across the state. The LA Unified School District, the nation's second largest, announced all schools, campuses, and after-school programs would close Monday due to the storm. Now, let's get to touching on this just ever so slightly. So context, which I'm glad Axios includes here. Not all articles include this context. I'm seeing a lot of reporting around these various climate stories, and I'll get to more that happened recently in a bit, and not giving any context at all around what is helping to make these storms more intense and more frequent. But as Axios writes, human-caused climate change is leading to more frequent and intense extreme precipitation events. It is also causing tropical storms and hurricanes to produce more rainfall as a warmer atmosphere and oceans allow these storms to carry more moisture. Now, let me get to a reaction here from Fox News, because this is just so, I I don't really care that they did this personally because there is a real critique here. But look at how they frame the impact of this Hillary storm hitting Southern California.
The wrath of Tropical Storm Hilary. 42 million desperate souls in the path of the storm, which made landfall in Mexico several hours ago. But they let it right into the country because it's Biden's America. Its impact far from over. This is the first tropical storm to hit California since 1939, when Joe Biden started his Senate career.
Fox News there with 2 attempted cracks at Joe Biden, which are hilarious, but because of how terrible they are. One is about his age, when Trump is about the same age, so that seems like an odd one for Fox News to make. The other one is about immigration. So, the storm is coming in from Mexico, just like immigrants. This is an ongoing narrative. I just want to hit on this quickly because this is an ongoing narrative that the right is perpetuating, and there's just no basis in reality. I mean, the opposite is true. These are the conversations that are actually going on right now. Biden is moving right on immigration. Will that hurt him in a general election because of lower turnout? Like, these are the conversations that are going on. Not that Biden is too far left, it's going to scare people away. No, it's that he's too far right, and is that going to hurt him? So this idea that, he's letting all the people in, no, he's actually incredibly conservative on this issue. Politico here, illegal border crossings dipped to lowest level in over 2 years. They're, arresting countless people at the border. The idea that Biden is just has opened the borders is just, it's completely invented, to the point where Fox News is now making, regular jokes during a story about a storm about immigration. But back to important news. So I covered last week, other impacts of the climate crisis, what's going on right now. Fires in Northwest Territories, I covered on Thursday, the northernmost region in Canada. And then that day, and shortly after, this story really hit. The fires in Kelowna, BC now, which have just, intensified. Not to mention, the weeks prior to that, we're talking about Hawaii and also the heat records day after day after day. I think it was like 4 or 5 days in a row where the Earth hit the highest heat record of all time, at least in terms of, since we've been tracking this. So we're seeing a lot of impact right now of the climate crisis. You also have the National Hurricane Center here watching 5 different potential spots for hurricane development in the Atlantic. So this is something to be aware of in the coming weeks and months. You also have these studies. So this is, I'm not going to go too deep into this because this, all of this can be a little too dry, but I will link to this in case you want to read into it further. But the general thing you need to know is that the economic cost of climate change is going to be higher, or is higher than previously thought. We're always seeing these studies and this analysis of what is going to happen. It's never that, the scientists are wrong, it's actually not as bad as they're saying. It's always, no, the scientists are off a little bit. The projections or the models are showing it's going to be a lot worse. So, or it's going to be, the top level of what the predictions show in terms of the greater the impact. So this is what we are constantly seeing, whether it's the cost of climate change, whether it is just the general impact in terms of the impact on the population, living conditions, the ability to grow food, the access to water. So all of these various impacts of the climate crisis are a lot worse than what were originally predicted. You're also seeing reports like this one that highlight the steep costs of climate inaction, going to the point that not doing anything is going to cost a lot more than actually trying to deal with the climate crisis in a real way. And, of course, that flies in the face of all the criticism or the attempts to deflect about how it costs way too much to, try and move our economy off of fossil fuels. It's going to cost a hell of a lot more to not do that. But I'm not even concerned about, the cost of, I'm concerned about the planet. I'm concerned about the future of humanity. I'm concerned about, future generations having a place to actually not just live, but thrive. And they're not going to have that if we continue putting this off. And that goes to this last point here from Reuters: climate inaction costlier than net zero transition. And that's according to a Reuters poll of economists in Europe, Asia, and the Americas ahead of the UN talks in Glasgow in 2021. So this is a lot of this is obvious. A lot of this, unfortunately, the way YouTube works, people that are watching this that have gotten this far in the video, you already know all of this. So at this point, there isn't a whole hell of a lot for me to really inform you about because we've been saying the same thing forever. But seeing the impacts firsthand and seeing impacts like what we're seeing in California in places where you don't normally see this kind of storm or this kind of flooding, I think moments like this help to wake more and more people up. And when it comes to who needs to be woken up, we're talking about politicians and the need to really reject the influences that they have, whether it's in the US and Canada, all over the world, these influences from fossil fuel giants. The sooner they divorce themselves from the desire to speak to the needs of fossil fuel companies, the sooner we get to a place where we can actually deal with this problem in a substantial way.